32 inches, 4K, and a beautiful QD-OLED panel. This is the MSI MPG 321URX gaming monitor, which is one of the most competitively priced 4K OLED monitors at just under $950, where other OLED monitors can reach up to $1,400. So I want to know if this OLED monitor is worth getting for your gaming desk setup. Starting off with the specs, we're getting a 3rd generation 31.5-inch QD-OLED display, a fast 240Hz refresh rate, and an ultra-low 0.03 millisecond response time. The screen is flat with an anti-reflective semi-gloss coating for amazing clarity, but keep in mind that you're sacrificing potential glare that I'll cover later on. Brightness is rated at a typical 250 nits and has a 10-bit color depth with a 99% DCI P3 color gamut coverage that is also factory calibrated for Delta E less than 2 accuracy. There is no built-in speakers or G-Sync compatible certification sadly, but it does have AMD FreeSync Premium Pro and Adaptive Sync technology. For connectivity, we have one display port, 2 HDMI 2.1 ports, one USB-C display port with up to 90 watts of power delivery, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and finally a USB 2.0 upstream port with 2 USB-A ports with KVM support. I like the versatility of inputs, but the USB hub is on the slower side where other monitors have higher USB 3.1 speeds. Another thing to note is that this comes bare bone with just an HDMI cable and a USB upstream cable. Now let's test out the gaming performance using my gaming PC equipped with a 4090 and Ryzen 9950X, and stay tuned for some PlayStation 5 gameplay. The best way to take advantage of the 240Hz refresh rate and low 0.03 millisecond response time is with a fast-paced high-action FPS game like Call of Duty. 4K resolution is very demanding, so even with a 4090 and DLSS set to ultra performance, I can average about 200 frames per second with extreme graphic settings. There's still some room for 240 frames, so it'll depend on the game, graphic settings, and your hardware. Even if you can average 120 FPS, you're going to enjoy this QD-OLED for its smoothness and awesome colors. For my NVIDIA users, since this monitor is not certified for G-Sync compatible, you'll have to manually enable it in the control panel and making sure FreeSync Premium Pro is enabled in the monitor settings as well. But once enabled, you'll have smooth, tear-free gaming. High FPS gaming is great on this monitor, but sitting back on some high fidelity gaming also looks amazing. You're getting deep blacks, gorgeous colors, and beautiful 4K resolution, which is just a better experience over 1440p and 1080p. Looking at the gaming features, we have MSI's Gaming Intelligence, or GI for short, at the top of the menu. This is where you can activate Smart Crosshair, which gives you 6 different reticle designs, with the color of the reticle automatically changing to give you the best contrast. Optic Scope adds a customizable zoom box that lets you adjust zoom levels and the size of the box. It's a cool feature, but it unfortunately disables Adaptive Sync. Under Gaming, you can adjust the shadow level intensity with night vision to make darker scenes brighter and easier to spot enemies, or my favorite feature, AI Vision, which does it automatically and isn't as aggressive as setting the levels. Now, while I enjoy OLED gaming, one of the setbacks is the potential OLED VRR Flicker when you have FreeSync or G-Sync enabled. This usually becomes obvious in dark settings and mostly in loading screens. The flicker can ruin your gaming experience, so the only way around it is turning off VRR and the flicker will instantly vanish. There are no features on this monitor to help prevent this, so you'll have to decide on going in with VRR or not. Now, for my next-gen console gamers, the MSI 321URX has full 48 gig bandwidth on each of the HDMI 2.1 ports. This means you'll get full support for VRR all the way up to 120 Hz, auto low latency mode, and you're getting beautiful 4K resolution. For games that support VRR, they'll feel a lot smoother and look fire on this OLED display. I'm using a PS5 Pro, and with MSI's refresh rate counter on the top left corner, you can see variable refresh rate working in real time. Now keep in mind that the PS5 automatically outputs HDR signals, so if you want more control over shadows, then disabling HDR in the PS5 settings will let you utilize night mode or AI vision, so you can make those type of adjustments. Another thing to consider is that since this monitor has no built-in speakers, you will need to use the 3.5mm headphone jack to output sound to external speakers. I like to use an aux cable to connect to my speakers for awesome sound. Besides that, I think this monitor is a great choice for console gamers looking to enjoy 4K OLED without having to go big on a larger TV. Taking a break from gaming, the design of this monitor is fire. I said the same thing about the smaller MSI 271URX, which shares the same design language. I love the gloss black MSI Dragon logo on the back, and the whole monitor looks and feels premium. There's a subtle MSI RGB on the back that you can customize in the menu settings or using MSI's Mystic Light. The front of the screen has a borderless design on the top 3 sides with a slim line on the bottom. I'm not a fan of the MSI logo screaming at you. I would have preferred a darker contrast or the dragon on front. The stand offers height adjustments, tilt, swivel, and a subtle 10-degree pivot, and it feels very sturdy. I also like the flat base, which saves a lot of desk space and does a good job of cable management. But if you're like me, going for a monitor arm gives you a cleaner look. Testing out the SDR brightness, I measured a peak of 267 nits on a 2% window and 262 nits on 100%. You're definitely getting the typical 250 nit brightness rating. For HDR, there are 2 modes that you can choose, True Black 400 or Peak 1000. In True Black 400, I measured a peak of 473 nits on a 1% window and 268 nits on 100%. On Peak 1000, of course, as the name suggests, I measured a 1% peak of 1041 nits and 261 nits on a 100% window. It's great to have the option between the 2 modes so that you can choose whichever one you prefer. During my time with the 321URX, I found the brightness to be good for all of my productivity and gaming sessions, except when there's glare, which is a minor setback of glossier displays. This is unfortunately one of the biggest downsides to semi-gloss coatings on a QD-OLED panel, since it will reflect light sources like your windows and other lights that you might have. Another con is the raised blacks in intense lighting, which gives it that infamous purplish tint which destroys the deep blacks, and this is something that affects all semi-gloss QD-OLED monitors, so it's very important to consider your own setup and lighting control. Looking past that, this semi-gloss coating is going to give you the best clarity and image quality. It's why so many despise matte coatings, because the colors truly pop on this display. For the price of this monitor, I'm glad that MSI was able to add both USB-C and KVM support, which is great for those that have multiple devices. I can easily connect my MacBook Pro with a single cable, and thanks to the KVM switch, it automatically switches to my laptop so I can control my mouse and keyboard. The only downside of this USB hub is the slower USB 2.0 speeds, which can sometimes cause delays whenever I start my PC, but whenever I switch between my PC to my MacBook Pro, the switch happens almost instantly, so it's definitely less than 10 seconds. Looking past that, the USB-C port can also deliver up to 90 watts of power, which is perfect for keeping your laptop charged and increasing your performance. macOS looks beautiful on this monitor, and on my M4 Max MacBook Pro, I was able to get 240Hz refresh rate with just USB-C. There's support for 5 different high-resolution scaling, so I'm sure this monitor is going to perform amazing on your MacBook or even the Mini or Studio. For those concerned about OLED burn-in, MSI gives us a 3-year OLED warranty that covers burn-in for peace of mind. They go further by including their OLED Care 2.0 that you can access in the menu settings that further reduces the chances of burn-in. You get detection features for boundaries, taskbar, and multi-logos that go alongside your panel protect features. It's also great that it has its own separate menu. You can also download MSI's gaming intelligence software to control your monitor settings from your PC. I appreciate MSI for making the software visually appealing and easy to use. This is also where you can update your firmware using DisplayPort and USB upstream cable. Talking about firmware, the latest version at the time of this video is FW.012, which was released in November 13 of 2024. I've been using this monitor to handle the demands of my content creation, and it does an amazing job. It's straight up a productive workhorse. Video editing on DaVinci Resolve on this 4K QD-OLED display is fire. 32 inches gives me a lot of space for viewing my timeline and other important features, and it also helps that the colors look amazing and accurate. Looking at text clarity, the latest 3rd gen QD-OLED panels has improved subpixel layouts, which means small text will look perfect. What also helps the text look even better is the higher 4K resolution, which puts the pixel density to about 140 pixels per inch, which is way sharper compared to a 1440p monitor of either 32 or 27 inches. Office apps like Word and Excel look great. Emailing and web browsing is also an awesome experience, making this monitor monitor perfect for productivity. So to the ultimate question, does the MSI MPG 321URX gaming monitor deserve a spot in your gaming desk setup? If you're looking to step into 4K OLED, then this monitor is a great choice for its amazing value compared to higher priced OLED monitors. I appreciate MSI for including many connectivity options and features at this price point, and as long as you keep in mind of a potential glare and your lighting control, this QD-OLED will not disappoint. You're getting amazing clarity, deep blacks, beautiful colors, and great gaming performance with 4K and 240Hz refresh rate. For those reasons, the MSI MPG 321URX definitely deserves a spot in your gaming desk setup for the ultimate 4K OLED experience. If you're interested in getting this monitor or the many tech that you've seen in this video, I will have a few links down below, which also helps to support the Firewolf Tech channel. I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and I would love your support with a like, share, and subscribe. Firewolf out.